I know no better. Drop on the web. WEFM, the new fresh sound.
Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Once again, welcome back, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The time is now 8:07, soon to be 8:08. And welcome to Activated Mornings this morning. You're listening to Ari, and with me is Christal. Christal?
What's up?
It's worried me when people in good mood all the time, you know. It's a little creepy. Why you always so happy?
Listen.
I'm opposed to your happiness, Christal.
That is your problem. That's a
It's
you
our problem. It's our problem.
It's not our problem. It's not.
It is our problem.
No, it's not. Maybe you should join the train and figure out how to be happy most of the time, or at least if you can't be happy, then pretend. After a while, the pretending will become reality.
Fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, that's a cheerful conversation. Authorities are trying to decide whether to charge suspected killers in Grenada or St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So I'm reading from Eyewitness News.
Grenada.
And it says jurisdiction has emerged as a major issue regarding any charges against the 3 Grenadians suspected of killing 2 U.S. sailors after hijacking their yacht and fleeing to St. Vincent after escaping police custody on February 18th. Police in Kingston said that the suspects, Ron Mitchell, 30 years, Trevon Robertson, 25 years, and Tiba Stanislaus, 23 years, all of Paradise St. Andrew, Grenada, committed several criminal acts, including bodily harm to the couple, Ralph Hedry and Kathy Brandel. The men were recaptured in Petitbordel on St. Vincent's west coast on Wednesday. On Monday, Commissioner of Police in Grenada, Don McKenzie, told a press conference in St. George's that his constabulary has deployed 5 officers to Kingston as part of the investigation. He said that while the investigation is being led by Vincentian detective, jurisdiction is a consideration in any charges brought against the men. Let it be known that in putting a trial before court, jurisdiction will be a factor, McKenzie said. He said there were ongoing discussions between SVG and Grenada Attorney General and the Director of Public Prosecution in each country. All of that would be worked out with time. On Monday, police in Kingston said that their investigation so far suggests that Hedry and Brandel are dead. The 3 accused men appeared in court in Kingston on Monday and pleaded guilty to immigration offenses and were remanded to prison for 1 week while awaiting sentences. Meanwhile, the Grenadian police chief told press conference that he is limited in what he could say because the active investigation and the information he had was from his Vincentian counterparts and could be considered second hand. Why you say Grenada?
I was just being a little bit mischievous, but I could see the difficulty in trying to ascertain, trying to figure out which jurisdiction to charge, or to try the matter in court. But regardless, for this current accusation, because they're escapees, so they have pre-existing matters that would have to be, I think, maybe inevitably tried in Grenada. But for me, it's where did the crime occur?
Sounds like Grenada.
Right.
Sounds
So
like they were attacked in Grenada. They were in Grenada, and the persons they did whatever they're accused of doing. Well, not they did what they're accused of doing. Whatever the accusations are, it is assumed to have happened in Grenada, and then in escaping, they traveled to St. Vincent, because even in the news report, it's saying that police believe that their bodies were disposed between Grenada and St. Vincent.
Right, and there's a thin line between Grenada and St. Vincent.
Very, very thin line.
Like right there. Carriacou and the Grenadines is just like right there. So
But you think that that Vincentians are a bit too welcoming to some of these illegal immigrants.
I I can't say because I don't know like how often this happens. But thankfully, like in this case, they were caught. But I mean, I'm going back to deciding which jurisdiction. I am curious to know what will be the final deciding factor.
Yeah. No, there's another story on Eyewitness News. The headline is SVG police trying to determine where the Grenadian escapees threw U.S. sailors overboard. And in it, it says, well, as we know, they appeared before Kingston, they were charged in immigration violations. But in Grenada, the men had been jointly charged with robbery with violence, while Mitchell was charged separately with 1 count of rape, 3 counts of attempted rape, and 2 counts of indecent assault, and causing harm before escaping from the holding cell at South St. George Police Station. Bailey said jurisdiction is a major issue in the case, in which the men are alleged to have hijacked the catamaran Simplicity with U.S. nationals Ralph Hedry and Kathy Brandel on board. Police in Kingston said in a statement on Monday that based on the investigation, it is presumed that Hedry and Brandel are deceased. But okay, I'm a
Sad.
bit confused, because if it is that they did commit a lot of these offenses in Grenada,
You know,
and they're really charged with immigration laws here. They did enter the country illegally. They did take the stolen boat, the stolen catamaran to St. Vincent.
hmm
How is jurisdiction a problem? Or are
the
they trying
couple,
to determine whether or not they should deport them for the
the
immigration
couple.
charges?
I mean, I maybe you could charge them and try them here for the immigration offenses, but there's another charge that obviously they have to deal with. And where's the couple? Where's the husband and wife? What exactly happened to them, and where did it happen? Now, if they're
And it,
supposed to be charged for murder, right? Um, Depending on where it happened, they could either be charged in St. Vincent or in Grenada. Can they say exactly where whatever happened? Do they know where they were when it happened? If a crime is committed between two countries, who takes the grunt of the trials? I just want to know, right? At
mhm.
the end of all of this, did this happen like at night or like during the day? Um, it's probably a stupid question, but how they knew where they were going? Like, were they that experienced sailors to navigate the seas?
Well,
Probably food.
if it is that they seasoned criminals, if it is that they're seasoned criminals, we have to acknowledge the fact that there are a lot of criminals both in St. Vincent and Grenada and other islands that are quite familiar with the routes and how to get to certain places, because I don't think that they showed up where they showed up by chance. I think they showed up where they were familiar, what they're familiar with, and it's not like it's something foreign for Vincentians to welcome certain criminals, especially on the leeward side. Over the years, police have arrested, they have suspected a number of persons in terms of entering St. Vincent and the Grenadines illegally, and they're not just entering illegally; they're being held up by Vincentians. Vincentians are offering them hospitality. Now, if this is the case, why is it that we're so welcoming towards these criminals? Is it just the general notion that persons tend to praise criminals in a sense and be more anti-law or anti-law officials, because in movies the criminals are always depicted, or in most cases, I can't say always, in most cases they're depicted as the heroes and they're depicted as the persons that you should look up to. Even in a Griselda, the Griselda story, there are persons who believe that Griselda was doing a lot for different people. They were doing a lot. She was doing a lot for the Cuban. She was doing a lot for different communities. But she was a serial killer. Okay, we have a call coming in. Let's take this call quickly. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Ari.
Yes, good morning.
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
You're asking a good question there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it the first time that Grenada prisoner is ending up in St. Vincent?
You see, I
You
don't.
remember when they
I
had
highly
the
don't.
hurricane in Grenada?
Maybe criminal.
You
No.
remember when they had the hurricane in Grenada?
When was
When
that?
the
What year
prisoners
was this?
escaped, where they end up?
Oh,
What year
yeah.
was this?
I can't remember
Hurricane
the
Ivan.
hurricane in Grenada.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of prisoners end up in St. Vincent.
Oh, yes.
But in it's the
So
same
this is not
in
the first time.
with St. Lucians as well. Different nationals they're familiar with, and they always ended up on the leeward coast.
In St. Vincent. I was
Yeah.
a police officer. This thing started since in the early 80s.
Is it that?
We had that problem. I used to work in Chatibele, and we had that problem with St. Lucians.
So is it
They
that?
come to deal drugs. They know St. Vincent.
Mm-hmm.
I live in New York, and sometime on my job, I talking to a St. Lucian or a Grenadian, and they tell me, I used to be in St. Vincent. So the first thing I ask them, where in Grenada are you from? If you're from Guave, I said, because you've been dealing drugs in St. Vincent.
Hmm.
If you're from Beaufort, with the next place name, I said, it's drugs you've been in St. Vincent for. Anytime you tell me you're from St. Lucia and you say you've been in St. Vincent, you come from these places, it's drugs. So a lot of these killing that going on in St. Vincent, it's not only Vincentians. They are drugs related. So sometimes we blame the police. The police can't solve crime. But most of the victims end up being victims because they're killing each other.
That's interesting. That's an interesting take. That could actually.
It's not
You're
an
right. That
interesting,
could
it's
really.
a fact.
That could really.
It's a fact.
That could really be why the police aren't able to solve certain murders. Because if they come into the country and they commit these murders and they leave, then what exactly can the police
They
do?
leave. So the police cannot solve the crime because they are not Vincentians who commit these crimes. And those people from North to the what the North would keep entertaining them. Because all the concern they come to buy drugs and they concern about the money only and not for the people's life. I know exactly what I'm talking about.
Wow. That's wild.
Years ago in the 80s, I think it was 83, 84, a few of them, we caught them in St. Vincent. The people from Natalie brought them to the station. Said they come to steal. But they didn't come to steal, it was a drug war. And the St. Lucian tell us, it's going to be a war, they're going to kill them anytime they come out. So sometimes I hear news of Vincentian went missing. You don't know Vincentian went missing, went to sell drugs. The St. Lucian meet them out in the sea, and they kill them and take the money and the drugs. A lot of people know these things in St. Vincent, but they're not talking it. They know these things.
But based on your experience, why do you think that is? Why do you think that they entertain the criminals from the other islands?
Money.
Because drugs is money, and drugs money come anyhow you get it, you take it. So they don't concern about other people's life.
No.
They don't concern about other people's life. And plenty of the parents in St. Vincent, they know that the children are dealing with drugs, but they only concerned about making the money. But when that son or whosoever died, that same parents come crying that the son was good. He's the one who maintained the family. How he used to maintain the family when he had no job? I listened to Hat 97 yesterday, and one of the criminals, I call him a criminal from Grenada, his sister was on some kind of Instagram or whatsoever and said his brother was a good brother. How he could be a good brother when he committing these crimes?
What I think is persons forget that the relationships with their family members or the relationship with their friends not the same relationship that these people have with other people or the general public.
Have on the outside.
Yeah.
He could have been a good brother.
Yeah, he could have been a good brother.
And he is good in the home. But when he get out there, he is a different person.
I really think we need to look into how are we going to deter persons.
We need to look into these things.
Yeah, how are we going to
Instead
deter
of
these
start
people?
blaming the police for everything, and we're not blaming ourselves. Thank you.
That's
You guys
interesting.
have a program. Keep it.
Yeah. Thanks for the
Thank you
contribution.
very much. You know, as he mentioned that, right? Anybody gonna get in trouble? Any Vincey's gonna get in trouble for this? Will they stay in the bush? That's a good point.
Yeah, I wonder. But that should be a charge that you should be able to
Not
charge
sure.
people with aiding and abetting. If you're
Yeah, but
hosting and or feeding or whatever to these criminals. But it seems to be something very common in North Leeward. So if it is just that it is because they're being paid, how do we deter Vincentians from welcoming these criminals into their communities?
I feel like you can. Because Simpson and Granny's one is so porous. And regardless of how much you preach, you prosecute, there will always be someone who will be a deviant and do what they're not supposed to do. I mean, look at crime. We talk about the laws, we talk about morality, like almost 24/7, and people would still kill, steal, rape, whatever they're doing. So I feel like it's really hard. And the caller just said it's been happening since the 80s. And
Yeah, we
like
have another call
really,
coming in.
okay, go ahead.
Let's take the call. Good morning, caller. You're live.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello?
Yeah, good morning. You're live.
Hello?
All right. I wonder what's happening here. Caller, you hearing us? Okay. We seem to have missed a call. Caller, if it is you're interested in calling again, please try to call again. I'm not sure why it is that she was not hearing us. The number to call is 457-9997. Also, the number to WhatsApp is 457-9997. You can also place calls on WhatsApp or via WhatsApp. Yeah, Christal, what were you saying?
I forgot my point.
But I really think we need to figure out how to deter these Vincentians from accepting these people into the communities, because I do not know. Okay, we have the call coming back. Good morning, caller, you live?
Yes, good morning there. Let's do a double check. Was the nation aware that 3 criminals is on the run?
Good question.
I became aware after the fact.
I became aware after the fact.
They came away after, okay? So we did not know. The police did not report it, okay? So street trends may come in any area. You don't know. Okay, Derry?
Yeah, but in the North Leeward community, where this happens a lot, you would know what you're hearing the difference in the accents. You're seeing people that you're not used to seeing popping up in the community. You will question it.
But I don't think like to that extent it would be like go straight to the police and question it. It's like, oh, they come in, they might have assumed.
Yeah, but
might
they have a history. Now I'm
Yeah,
trying to remember
because they
who it
have a
is.
history, doesn't mean that everybody has to be skeptical all the time. You might just assume that, oh, that
Maybe it's
person.
just me. I would have been skeptical.
Maybe it's just you.
I would have been
But
very
if it's
skeptical, especially down there.
if it is a customary thing for people to come like visitors, you don't know who is who and what's not. I don't know. But then Simmons is so smart, but there's not everything.
Yeah, and people know people they could be fair, it could be bribery, it could be many different factors why it is that people aren't saying anything and why people are welcoming them into their home. But it needs to stop.
I think fair is a possible thing. It's just like asking folks to um come
Report
forward
crimes.
with
Hmm.
information and report crimes. They don't want to do it because of XYZ and the fear that the perpetrators are going to find out and will be threatened beforehand. And it happens, it happens even when cases are in the court, even when persons are found guilty of offenses, even when they are charged, even when they confess, like the victims are still threatened by people. So I mean it's a real occurrence. Would people generally feel comfortable like speaking things? You just can't have this like see and blind, hear and deaf kind of mentality, which unfortunately does not work for the situation at hand.
All right. And we have another caller. Good morning, caller, you live.
Yes, it's me. I calling back from New York about that caller.
Yes, go
You
ahead.
see, I'm telling you, the blame game, the police know about it, so they didn't put out a bulletin. These criminals, they come in St. Vincent, they break from cells, they come in St. Vincent, they have a girlfriend. Right away. This is no hearsay. This is what I know. The story I just tell you with the St. Lucian in Chatibelair, 2 years after, I was walking Kingston and I saw a commotion in the cell. I went around the cell. Two of the same very guy from St. Lucia, they kill a tourist and end up in St. Vincent living over Edinburgh, living with Vincentian people. Kill a tourist in St. Lucia, end up living over Edinburgh and living in the house of Vincentian people. So we encourage it. According to what Christal just asked, you will hear the accent. Why you encourage them? Find out where they're from, what they're doing here. Go to the police. I hear a St. Lucian living here or there. Let the police do their job. But we cover up for people, and when we don't come on the radio, I'll go on media and try to blame everybody, but blaming ourselves. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Christal Kelly, you take my point. That was my point, and he attributed to you. That was my point. But he's right. He is right. You can't welcome these people to your community and then you're on social media blasting the police. And okay, let's take this final caller before we go to our ad break. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, my brother and my sister. Just want to bring something to attention. I lived 39 years in Annisville. No politics. No politics. And we have come to a situation now where we are having robberies and people are afraid. I could call the name, but I wouldn't call the name. These are businessmen who got broken into 123 called Calico, and they didn't come. Some of them, they're very sure that, the reason why they're not coming. They know the reason why they're not coming, so they don't call anymore. But let me say, we had a very serious situation late last year, and we had a robbery. And I was very, honored that this guy felt confident. My neighbor said, honey, I saw it. And I'm going to come to you and tell you. He explained to the guy, the description and everything of the guys. And, they was just out my gate. And he said, do me one favor, for God's sake, do not call my name with the police. Because from a survey I've done, 90-something% of the population don't trust them. Don't trust that they would keep the information in confidence. And you know what this crazy man did? I called 2 senior officers and I gave them the information, putting my very life at risk. But that is, we need a situation whereby we can trust the police. We can trust the Minister of National Security. We can trust people in government. That is gone. We come totally like Venezuela. And I'm only saying, hey, this is why we have a very serious situation with crime. Let me get a little joke before I come up. Who being on radio the other day, our good friend, Mr. Bailey, Trevor Bailey. He said, oh God, I have knowledge now we're 52 for 100,000. The crime situation really bad, on NBC. And we really got to do better. But ask Mr. Bailey and ask Simmons and all of them, including the current acting commissioner, where they've been on 22, and you all could attest to it. They've been on saying crime going on, everything under control. Now the reality has come. We're number 1 in the Caribbean the crime capital of the Caribbean. Number 7 in the world, the crime capital of the Caribbean. The police have not done anything for the public relations. You call them, and basically they don't even know the second murder. 7 murders. The lady don't even know the 7th murder. I'm sorry for shouting, my brother. We need back democracy.
You shouldn't shout.
Here with guns, we don't suffer.
Okay, Mr. Hamilton, thank you very much. Shouting. Some very good points, but it's the shouting that turns people off from listening to you, Mr. Hamilton, for all these years, almost 5 years. You still don't understand. But anyways, whoo, hey, mommy. Some good points. Thank you for your contribution.
Every time I hear that, right, it always rubs me the wrong way, hearing St. Vincent has the most killing per capita. And we're number 1, and well, regarding the number 7 in the world, I'm not sure about that one. But it's debatable. But Christal, we have an extreme solution here. I want to hear your thoughts on it before we go to commercial. Christal and Harry, good morning. The need to bring back the gallows is the only thing might ease up the killing, because I just hear fellow say that I can go jail anytime because their plate and spoon turned down there and they can kill and come back out.
You ever heard the term gallows bait?
No, what is gallows bait?
You must say, well, I make me gallows bait, as in you want to tempt me to kill so that I will be killed. Gallows bait. We learned something new today. Boy, I feel like that is something that I don't want to touch right now. Gallows, bring back the gallows. Will it be a deterrent? More of a deterrent, because behind prison you could have multiple phones. You still have access to the rest of the world. You still have a social life in to some extent. Not all your rights are taken away from you. You get boneless. I don't know about this, if it's true or not, but they said they get boneless meat over there too. Yeah, some people just go in to have nice time. It's not a bed of roses, obviously not, but is it acting as a good deterrent, as it should be for some of these more hardened criminals? Gotta do a study for that.
I have to, but in the meantime, we really, really should not be welcoming criminals, especially criminals outside of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because that caller did raise a very good point. Because when these crimes happening and the police have a low solving rate, we then blame the police and we complain that the police not doing their jobs. But how can they be doing their jobs when these criminals are being assisted by locals? It makes it very, very difficult for them to do their jobs. And we don't want Vincentians dying. We don't want Vincentians being raped, killed, robbed. We don't want these things happening within our show. So we really have to do better. And if we want things to be prevented, we ourselves have to take it upon ourselves to not welcome these criminals.
If we didn't, I think overall, if we didn't have the empowering criminals, I don't want to say culture, but if it wasn't something that was happening local with local, it wouldn't. I don't think it would have been such a big problem, local with foreign. So
yeah, but we're gonna take a quick commercial break and we'll be back with more activated mornings this morning.
Sparrows, rum, look your sophistication. Sparrows, rum, gauge to perfection.